All right, welcome back. Lake Effect Sports Podcast. I handled the stupid noise pretty decently that time. I kind of battled through it. I forgot about it till I hit the button. But we're back. I think we're in double-digit episodes now, so a little bit of consistency from us. How about that?
Yeah,
Going on 3 months of this now. It's kind of crazy.
yeah. Like this is probably. I'm surprised how we've kept this up for like 3 months. It's honestly impressive.
Yeah, and I mean, I've enjoyed doing it. I hope you've enjoyed doing it too. And for the 12 people that listen, hope you like it too.
Definitely.
All right. So before we get into our beginning Indians talk, gotta talk about my undefeated rec basketball team. We won
Okay.
60 to 58. I didn't really describe anything. It's two 20-minute halves, kind of like NCAA style.
Okay.
Everyone else on the team played pretty well. I did not at all. I was 2 for 8 shooting. I kind of quit shooting pretty early. I mean, we only play with like 5, 6 guys, so everyone shoots double-digit shots. It's not like I was like jacking up shots. I knew I was sucking early, and I was like, let's let the other guys actually carry me.
So you pretty much just played point guard and just passing it out to everybody.
Oh yeah, that's literally all I did. Oh, I did one good thing. We were up by like 1 or 2 with 30 seconds left. I took a charge by accident. The guy just kind of ran me over, and I maybe exaggerated a little, but went down. Not saying I saved the game, but I kind of saved the game. Just I'm a team player.
Okay. Calm down. You went 2 for 8.
Yeah. All right. So Indians talk. What do we rate this week? One through 10.
1 through 10. I would say like a 7. Could have been a lot worse. At the end of the day, it was good enough, especially with the circumstances.
Yeah, we are limited is the nice way to call our pitching rotation right now, and the bats are just always going to be limited this year. So I think it was a solid week. It had a couple games where you felt like that was I hate to say like the end of the season, but every time that felt like it was going to happen, it was like, here comes the downslope of the year. They won a game that they didn't feel like they had a chance of winning. It happened against the White Sox in the second half of the doubleheader, and it happened with the Blue Jays in the second half of that doubleheader, where they just stayed alive.
Yeah, this team just has heart. Sometimes it's like the indescribable trait that some people can't quantify, but this team just is a bunch of grinders. Like they just keep grinding, keep staying in the game. The bullpen gives them a chance, and they just keep finding ways to like to keep winning. Like if you would have told me like a Rene Rivera, Yu Chang, and like Jake Bauers like type rally was going to help us against the Blue Jays, I would have thought you were nuts. Like it's just sometimes it just happens.
And I think we definitely have to talk more about that game. How the Blue Jays had one of the most poorly managed end to the games of all time. Did we have 4 straight 4-1 walks? It was insane that they just kind of let us crawl back in.
And they left the pitcher in that from the inning before that was already shaky, and they just decided, you know what, we're gonna just leave him in. Of course, it was gonna backfire, like in spectacular fashion. Like there's no way to describe it other than just utter incompetence.
He threw 30 pitches that outing, 25 balls. He wasn't anywhere near the strike zone. After about the first 2 walks, the bullpen's got to be up and ready. It never got up. They single-handedly decided to shoot themselves in the foot that game. I don't understand. It was one of those like manager being stubborn moments where they're like, yeah, you got himself into it. Time to get yourself out of it. He wasn't getting himself out of it. Everyone knew.
Yeah, like watching it live, it's just like, how did that thought never cross their mind? Like, hey, get the ball, like call somebody up from the pen. We need to get somebody up quick, even if it's like 15 pitches. We need to get him out of there now. Like the fact that they left him in for 5 batters and then pretty much walked in the tying run from after 5 batters, like that thought never crossed his mind after the game got tied. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. That was one of those clueless moments of a game we didn't deserve to win. We got outplayed from start to almost finish. Not finish, so that we played them better for one singular inning, and win's a win. I'm not going to complain too much.
Oh yeah, not gonna complain.
The other big topic of the week is James Karinchak, and it's not necessarily his struggles on the mound, which have been very plentiful this week. White Sox TV guys and announcers noticed him grabbing out his glove and a bit of a black substance on his bright red glove. Not the best look for Mr. James. What's your thoughts, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, if it is the case, it's kind of it sucks. But at the same time, the league has done a terrible job of policing it. So everybody has been using some type of substance. So you can't necessarily blame him for using something, but at the same time, it's like it's cheating. Like we all know it's cheating, but it's like it's like the league and the players are alone are like, well, we're all kind of cheating, so we can't really just be a snitch. We can't really tell on anybody. So it's just like that's just kind of my mindset on the thing. It's like, yeah, he did it, but at the same time, it's like everybody's doing it, and the league's just looking the other way on the whole thing. It's just weird.
Yeah. What I've kind of read up and heard so far is that the league is taking this year and they said they're not punishing anyone for it. This is their research and analysis year. I mean, the research analysis should be pretty obvious that the league average is 232 and no one's hitting the ball and you deaden the balls. So that should be enough research right there. But they're not punishing anyone this year. So I hate to say cheat if you can, but why wouldn't you cheat if there's no rule against it right now?
Yeah, it's just like if you can find an advantage, go for it. It's just it is what it is. Like if you're not cheating, you're not trying, as the old saying goes. Like that's just what it is right now.
And it's one of those things where every pitcher's using it. So if you don't, you're just competitively behind. And how can you make that a fair game if only let's say I would, maybe it's crazy, but probably about 50% of guys are using it this year. So it's unfair to the other 50% that aren't using it. Well, it's kind of a weird situation we're in.
It is. And hitters are starting to get frustrated. Sometimes I think there was an athletic article that discussed how I think a rookie got his first hit and they tossed the ball in and they noticed how sticky and almost glue-like the substance was. They were almost picking at it to where like when on the ride home, like how much stuff was on the ball. Like it's just gotten to a point where they're going to eventually crack down and it's going to get ugly. You might see like the Garrett Coles, you might see the Trevor Bauers, you might see some of the best pitchers get like just punished, and you would think he was using stuff, like, but it's not going to be surprising because everybody's using.
And that's the thing. I don't know if they're going to punish the guys or if they're just going to kind of turn the cheek on it this year and say, hey, we're actually going to crack down this year. Don't use it. That's what I'm really interested to see.
True. Yeah, I want to see how it unfolds. Maybe it changes by the All-Star break. They kind of did something similar when, like, in 2019 when the home run was getting, like, super ridiculous and they kind of tried to deaden the ball then. So maybe by the All-Star break, we might be seeing some things change by then.
I think they should definitely put out a statement like, from now on, we're cracking down on it, and kind of maybe even then give something back to the pitchers where you take away that very sticky substance and then you say, hey, you're allowed to use the sunscreen and rosin combination together where you can get that grip. It's something that batters aren't hating, but you're not getting plus 500 RPMs on your spin rate.
Yeah, that could be an option, or they create their own like league approved substance where pitchers can all use it and it doesn't like completely just like alter the ball in some shape or form. Like maybe in the future.
A grip enhancer, but not a spin enhancer.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So last thing of Indians, as always, you're up first this week. 3 stars of the week. Who you got?
3 stars of the week. For my first pick, I'll go with Cal Quantrill. Like he stepped up in a big way, like in that doubleheader in the second game. Like he looked like a big league pitcher. I've been on the Cal Quantrill train for a while, and obviously he had been kind of just sitting in the bullpen as like the long relief guy. But you always, at least to me, there was always a feeling like he could do more. He's a big league pitcher. Like obviously, like he's going to have to get stretched out for like the next 2 or 3 starts, but he's got the stuff to be a solid big league pitcher.
Yeah, and that's definitely what it is. He's earned the right to be a starter in this rotation at this point.
Oh, definitely.
All right, so my first one is not the player that had the best week. It comes with the story. So we were both at the Indians game together on Tuesday, correct? Well, not together. We were there, just we didn't even know. But what happened? Austin Hedges is up to the plate. We got a runner on first, and he comes up and he's not bunting. I audibly yell. I'm like, why is he not bunting? Like, he's been one of the worst hitters in the league this year. And my cousin and uncle are next to me. They go, he's going to hit a home run now just to prove you wrong. Bang. Austin Hedges battles a great at bat and knocks one out of the park. And they were just razzing me the entire game. They're like, Austin Hedges is going to like point at you and he's going to change his whole season around because of you. I'm like, great. I saved Austin Hedges, I guess. So Austin Hedges, I'm giving him a star simply because I doubted him so much.
Yeah, I kind of had a similar situation where I was like in the stands. There was like this kid, maybe 13, 14. He was just heckling Austin Hedges the entire game. Like after like he botched that one relay where he kind of lost the ball.
Mm-hmm.
It is like coming up to the plate. He was like, "Hey Austin, did you bring your glove this time?" Just completely just wailing on him. And then the next thing you know, he hits the home run. And his dad and the guy that's to his left is like, hey, did you see Austin Hedges there? It's just like, man, it was just funny. Like, what? Yeah. Good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, definitely. All right, who you got at 2?
I'll go with Big Harold Ramirez.
Oh yeah.
Like he had 2 big RBIs, and he had that big catch in the 7th inning, I think it was, like in left field. Like, dude's been like a saving grace to this lineup. Like, he might not give you like the popping stat line, but like his like solid approach and just hard contact with every swing he makes, like he's been a saving grace.
Oh yeah, no doubt. We needed just another bat to at least be decent in this lineup. And he's someone who doesn't strike out too much. He comes up there, he swings hard, and he gets on base a lot of the time. So you got to love what Harold's doing.
Oh, definitely.
All right, my number 2, I'm going Clase. It seems like he's finally got his stuff back. He went through that stretch where he wasn't even blowing games, but he was kind of off. And he's been out of the closer role right now, which he might be earning himself right back. I think he's trying to become that elite pitcher. And this week was one of those weeks where you're like, oh man, he's got just that nasty, nasty stuff.
Yeah, like it was nothing that was like totally alarming, but you could tell he was like being too fine with his pitches. But that one like appearance, he was just attack, and nobody could hit him. Like he gave up that one hit, but after that was just like strikeout, just completely just like overpowered every hitter after that. Like it was just good to see.
Mm-hmm, definitely. All right, your 3rd star.
3rd star. I'm surprised I didn't put him as my first pick, but I'll give it to Jose.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Clutch, man. Like that big like game-winning sac fly that like he's had a big hit every time we've won this week, and like how can you not pick Jose? He's just been Mr. Consistent all year.
Yeah, definitely. He had the big walk-off, kind of just, once again, when we had no offense, he gave us some offense.
Definitely.
All right, my final star, Cesar Hernandez. He finally woke up, and he's not a black hole in the lineup anymore. His at-bats have looked better. He's kind of smashing the ball. He's becoming a little bit of a home run hitter right now. And we needed someone to step up, not just someone. We needed someone's. And it finally felt like some bats really took another step, and he was one that I really thought had a good week.
Definitely, like two home runs in one of the games of the doubleheader. Like he's just been heating up, and we desperately need him at the top of the order, just causing havoc for Jose to drive him in and stuff.
Yeah. So, all right, 3 stars of the week. basketball talk. No football really action happened. So we'll hop right into the NBA playoffs. Let's go through just quick recap of each series. Nets got the job done, took out the Celtics. Celtics did steal one. Jason Tatum had one of those like historic games where you look back at his entire great career and you see that 55-point game kind of just carrying the roster, and like that's when you knew Jason was a star.
Oh, definitely. Like Jason Tatum, I knew was a star when we faced him in 2018. Like the dude was 19 and he looked like one of the better players on the floor. Like he was ready for that moment, and he's gotten better, which is crazy to think.
Yeah, he was the Celtics offense this year. For a team that really was underwhelming and underperformed, he wasn't. Their lack of success was not his fault this year. And I think Marcus Smart's probably done on the Celtics from now on. I think he'll probably leave or trade or whatever. I think they're definitely trying to move away from Marcus Smart. And I think Jason Tatum can really become the true vocal leader of this team. And let it be his team, not have someone else kind of trying to be the leader of this squad.
Yeah, just in general, the Celtics are just shaking everything up. Like Brad Stevens goes up to the president of basketball ops. Danny Ainge retires. Like the Nets pretty much they broke the Celtics, dude. Like the team that Danny Ainge fleeced like 10 years ago was the team that pretty much broke him and was just like, yep, that's it. I'm out, guys. Which is insane to me.
Yeah, that is weird stuff in basketball where you didn't expect the Nets to kind of be the winner of the worst trade in NBA history.
Yeah, like they lost like 4 first-round picks, built the thing up from scratch. Everybody thought the Celtics were going to be like the team of the decade. That was kind of was the thing for like 3 or 4 years, and now they're just kind of crashing and burning, and you don't know what they're going to do next, man.
It feels like you have two building blocks there, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. You know, Brown was hurt this year. So they have stuff, but I feel like they need to kind of just overhaul the roster. They kind of get rid of everything else and try again, basically.
Yeah, like just in general, I think they'll be all right. But yeah, they got to overhaul the roster and probably just go in a different direction. Like I like Brad Stevens as a coach, but I think it was probably time to like switch things up probably.
Yeah. All right. Who's the 4-5 in the East?
The 4-5, I think that was Knicks and Hawks.
Oh, yes. Knicks got the Knicks are who we thought they were at the beginning of the year. The Hawks finally have a pretty solid roster. They're not like a finals competitor, but they have a playoff roster now in place and a stepping stone for the future. The Knicks, I didn't really think that roster was that great. And when it came time to playoffs, Julius Randle couldn't handle double teams. They didn't have the offense. They just didn't have the guns to hang with other teams. And maybe I personally think this Knicks team just overperformed overall this year.
Yeah, I can agree. Like I think that roster was never that good in general, but whatever Tom Thibodeau did to like just straighten them up and become a better like team overall in terms of performance, like yeah, I definitely think they overperformed. I think I'm not going to be the one to say Julius Randle is a fraud or anything. That's kind of like that's short-sighted, but like I don't think he's ever going to be the number one on a championship team, but he's definitely a valuable piece for them in the long term.
And I agree with that too. But I think it kind of comes down to what everyone always talks about is Thibodeau kind of burning his teams out in the regular season. So they're like those Bulls teams always would be great in the regular season and then just crash and burn in the playoffs. Is that the case as well?
I could see it because like he had like D Rose, he had Jimmy Butler, he had Joakim Noah all those years. They were better teams, but they just never were able to like step up to the challenge when playoffs came around. Like probably because they were tired or just didn't have like the right like strategy come playoff time. Like it just never worked for some reason.
And I think that's another thing too, where they build these great defensive juggernauts, and they really don't have much on the offensive side of things.
Yeah, that's true. Like if your main like source of offense is Julius Randle and a bunch of role players, We probably should have seen this coming. I thought the series was going to be more competitive, but in hindsight, it probably was going to end up this way. So yeah, I'm not that surprised.
Yeah. Bucks Heat ended last week. We already talked about that. Bucks utter domination. And then the final series. Well, actually, we should probably start at the 1-8. I started at the 2-7, thinking the Nets were the one. But we got Sixers Wizards. Wizards eliminated. Frauds. Russell Westbrook sucks in the playoffs. I hate him so much. And I was just like, finally, he was having that great little end to the season where he was doing his triple doubles, shooting pretty efficiently. But when it's all said and done and you need him to hit shots in the big game, he couldn't.
Yeah.
And they couldn't even beat an Embiid-less Sixers team. Glad to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, with a Simmons who doesn't have a half court game and just is barely like a weapon outside of that. But you're right. Like, I love Russ. He's one of the probably more entertaining players in the NBA, but his play style is just not efficient by himself as a playoff performer. Like, if you like back in the day, if he was paired with KD and James Harden, you could live with it. But if he's your number one, like, it's just not sustainable in the playoffs.
Yep. All right, go over to the West. Jazz, Grizzlies, and obviously the Jazz, once Donovan Mitchell came back, started to look like the elite team they are. But this kind of felt like Ja Morant's coming out party more than anything. We knew the Jazz were just a much better team than the Grizzlies. I don't think anyone picked the Grizzlies to win this series.
Oh, yeah, no.
But it feels like the Grizzlies have a pretty solid core, kind of like they have a building block foundation, kind of like what we said with the Hawks, how they have their building block foundation. Kind of feels the same for this Grizzlies team. You've got Dylan Brooks, Ja Morant, Valanciunas. What's your takeaway from that series?
Yeah, I just love what the Grizzlies have done. Like, they have such a young, talented core that you know they're going to be able to build off this. Like, they're probably going to get better in the next couple of years. Ja's going to get better. All their young guys are going to get better. And I'm honestly came away impressed, even though it was a 5-game series. Like, it was a competitive 5 games until the very end.
And I think this Jazz team has really not gotten the credit they've deserved this year. They were the best team in the league all year long, offensively and defensively. They don't really have many holes at this point. They've got some great bench depth and an elite starting unit. They did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, like all year we were hearing, 2016 Hawks, 2016 Hawks. These guys are frauds. And it's like, I watched them like a lot during the year, and I was just like, these guys ain't frauds. They got depth to be like a championship roster. You got Jordan Clarkson, who's 6th man of the year, Donovan Mitchell, like the best defensive player in the league, and Rudy Gobert. Like, this group can go to the finals. Like, there's no question about it. Like, especially with the Lakers situation and how shaky the Clippers are, like, it's open season. Anybody's got a shot.
And speaking of the Clippers looking shaky, they're down 3-2 they're down 3 to Luka Doncic. At this point,
it's Luka. It's all Luka.
It is Luka Doncic. They are down 3-2 to Luka Doncic. There's no one helping him out. If he wins this series, you can't keep Luka Doncic out of your top 5 players in the NBA. I saw someone say something this morning where they said Luka Doncic is the best player in the NBA, but everyone's afraid to say it. And I'm not willing to say that just yet. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But he's 21, 22 years old. He's carrying a bad team. He's scoring like 30, 40 a night. He's putting up numbers that other players in the league have never put up ever in his 3rd year.
Yeah, like Luka is having a run that's like all-time great. I think you can say that. Like, he's a talent that is gonna be up there in about 5 years, and I would not be shocked if he was the best player on the planet like 5 years from now. Just like, which is crazy to think, because everybody they always doubt the European guy. They always doubt the European guy. Like, oh, this guy, he won't translate to the league. His talent is way better than we even expected out of him. Like he's probably in the top 10. There's no question.
He's getting to the point where you have to get him in the top 5 argument now. If someone says he's a top 5 player in the league, you can't look at them anymore and be like, oh, you're crazy, you're overrating him. He's doing it against Kawhi Leonard, who also, until game 5, he had a pretty bad game. He was shooting over 60% the first 4 games in the series, and he was still taking games. He missed 2 games. Didn't they? The 2 games they won, didn't he even play?
I mean,
I know he missed one of them.
I think he did miss one, but yeah, like you could argue like Paul George, Pandemic P, as everyone likes to call him, has been the better player on the Clippers, which is like everybody would have said you're crazy if that was the case. But yeah, Kawhi has just not been that guy for the Clippers. Like, and Luka's just been straight out outplaying him, and not just outplaying him, clowning them. Because like when I saw like him doing the 1 foot fading away 3, I thought, oh my god, that's like Larry Bird-esque. He's just clowning on these guys. Like he has no respect for them.
He has that same sort of feel, and we can move on to this next series that Jokic has, where they're kind of slow. They're not that athletic. They don't look like they're that great at basketball. You see those guys walking down the street, you're like, oh, those are some big guys. That's it. You're not saying that that's an athlete. Yeah. And they don't even do anything that's that insane. It's just they score. They get themselves open, and they make their entire teams so much better.
Yeah, like they play at their own pace, and like you think it's in slow motion, but to them it's just like it's like what's the one scene from X-Men where like the one guy's just
it's over, he's moving the bullets himself,
like the slowest thing you've ever seen. To him it's just like, it's whatever, I'm just doing me. Like that's just what Luka and like Jokic are when they play.
And moving on to that Nuggets Blazers series, that's the series of the playoffs so far.
Yeah, like Dame being Dame, Jokic carrying the Nuggets. Like it's just been so fun to watch. Like especially yesterday's game where Dame was just hitting shot after shot and then just dragging the game into double overtime. Like it's just been so fun to watch.
And obviously, like the person you feel bad for is Damian for having to carry this team. But the person I feel bad for is Jokic. He's getting his shine completely stolen from him. If Lillard isn't having this insane historic series, everyone's talking about how the MVP is going for 30 a night and just dominating people. When who's their big guy that's not Cantor, Yusuf Nurkic, when he's in the game, he's been good, not as great. When Enes Kanter is in the game, it is the most pathetic scene of all time.
Barbecue chicken. Like, like he is the definition of all offense but no defense. Like he's the perfect backup to where if you just need a guy who can score on the second unit, that's fine. But if you have him more than like 20 minutes, it's just, you're going to get cooked. Like he's going to get cooked every time in the post, and Jokic is the wrong matchup for him.
Oh, yeah. I think obviously Kanter is a horrific defender, but it's just unfair to compare it to Jokic, who's just dominating right now.
Oh, yeah. Like he's been the MVP. He's played like the MVP, but arguably you could say Dame has been the better player, which is insane to think. But yeah, like the series has been incredible.
Yeah. So question, who do you got winning? Who do you got winning the 2 series we just talked about?
I think Luka puts on one more performance and moves the Clippers to the second round. And I think ultimately
So Matt, wait, you want Mavs? Do you want the Mavs or the Clippers?
I want the Mavs. I'm kind of just sick of the Clippers just being incompetent at this point. They don't deserve to move on. Like they asked for this, and yet they're not up to the challenge. It seems like Luka in 6. I don't even care. Yeah. And then with the Nuggets, I think they'll outlast the Trailblazers. I just think they're the better team, no matter what Dame tries to do.
Yeah, kind of same thing where I think they already proved Dame gave them everything they had, or he had, and they still were able to win.
Yep.
Last series, kind of the most talked about one, Lakers Suns.
Yep.
We're recording this before Game 6 tonight. Is Anthony Davis playing?
I have not seen any word. I would think he would try, like if I had to guess, but I have not seen anything.
That's the weird thing too. I mean, I've kind of been on my phone a good bit today, and I haven't seen anything either way where it's he's playing, he's not playing. It must be just they're trying to hide it no matter what it is.
Yeah, like they probably don't want to like show how severe the groin strain is, but they need everything they can get right now. They look at times they look rusty. You can tell they are still getting back into a rhythm at times. And yesterday it went in that first half, it was just like all Suns. It was a complete avalanche, and they had no answers for them. And it was just the perfect storm. And like, yeah, I'm just worried that they're not going to show up tonight if AD's not out there. Like,
You may be worried. I'm excited for that. I would love to see this Lakers team go home round one. This is a pretty fun Suns team, and hate LeBron, hate the Lakers. This is a very easy cheer for me.
yeah,
I hope the Suns can just get it done.
Yeah, and if it does happen, I'm definitely taking the Suns as my playoff team. CP3 deserves a shot at the finals. I think they're more than capable of doing that.
They don't have the depth of teams like, or really any other team in the playoffs, but they've got a good five. They got Devin Booker, who can really be a star. DeAndre Ayton's having one of those playoff runs where you become a great player in this league, and you've got your veteran leader. If you can, I think the Suns have to win tonight. They don't win tonight. I don't see them winning a game 7. I just see them falling apart. You have to LA and get this done.
Yeah, that like Nick Wright said, you're it's pretty much a 6-game series. Like if you don't win game 6, there's a good chance that LeBron's going to overtake you in game 7. It's just like you gotta get, like put your foot down on his neck when you have an opportunity. You can't lie down and just take it easy. You got to go for it. That's he's never lost a first round series, and even at his weakest, and when the chips are down, he usually comes out like fighting.
I'm actually, for my prediction, I'm going to take the Lakers just so I can say the Lakers win and I can have some sort of positive if they do get out of it. I'm like, well, at least I said the Lakers are going to win. So that's why I'm going to take the Lakers.
Cowherd just cop out like, oh yeah, I'll predict this, but I also have this saved just in case this happens.
Like I want the Suns to win, so I'll be happy if my pick's wrong. But then if the Suns lose, I mean, like at least I got the pick right.
Fair enough.
So last thing, we're actually going to still stay in the NBA. The Celtics Nets series ends. Kyrie being kind of an idiot stomps on Lucky, their logo.
I didn't know they have aim for the leprechaun, but go ahead.
Yeah, he walks out. Celtics fan tosses a water ball at him, and I want to make this clear: that guy's an idiot.
Yeah,
but I think the correct take is that's not aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, right?
Yeah, I think it's a little excessive, like trying to charge him with assault and stuff. You could just say, "Hey, we're banning you from the stadium.
Yes.
Just never show up again." But yeah, like that's a little excessive. But I think the part
full water ball hits Kyrie in the head. He's like, "Ow!" At worst.
Yeah, it's a small inconvenience. Like that, and there was not even water in it. It's just the smallest of inconveniences, really.
Oh, it was an empty plastic bottle?
Yeah, I don't know how far that thing flew then, if that was the case.
Like, he threw an empty plastic bottle and we're calling this aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Really?
Yeah, really? If you look at the footage, it's clearly just empty. And I'm more impressed that he got it that far, if he was that high up.
You could let a guy 3 feet away from me throw a water bottle as hard as you can at me. The worst I'm going to be like is, dude, that stung. It's like 100 feet he tossed that thing. It would just bonk him. Maybe if the cap hit him in the eye, that's like the worst case scenario. It'd have to be the
Yeah.
greatest throw of all time to get. Somehow that was a great throw just to get it there. Now you telling me he has to do that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's I think that's the way you have to look at this one. That guy should be banned for life from the Garden, but
Yeah. Like,
it also shouldn't be aggravated assault. Any other
true.
opinions on it?
What'd you think of like some of the responses by some of the former Celtics? Like, you would think that the him stepping on like Lucky was like stepping on a family member. Like, I've never seen so many Celtics like just pearl clutching over a logo. Like, I get it. I got it when like Juju got wrecked. Like, it was kind of like he got wrecked because he was dancing on a logo. It was settled there, but just like KG, Kendrick Perkins, and like it was just
yeah. I think it's just a little different. I think if, say, just a random Lakers player did it, it's just the heat of the rivalry. This was a guy that Boston fans just absolutely hated doing something dumb, and just he becomes even more hateable then.
oh yeah, like that entire week that Boston fans were just being Boston fans. It was just more like, how pissed off did one man make you guys that you're saying F Kyrie at a Red Sox game, F Kyrie in the Garden, and you're just basically hating on the guy for a week, and yet like he shuts you up and finds a way to get under your skin one more time. It just perfect execution to the point where even KG and Kendrick are like, you had to step on Lucky. You had to step on our logo, the sacred logo. You would you would think they stepped on like the Yankees logo or like the like I get it. Celtics lore is probably up there with some of the great franchises in all of sports, but like it's a logo. It's not that.
Yeah.
It's a logo. Like, come on, guys.
And KG's response about him being so disrespectful when he's literally quoted time and time again for being the most disrespectful human on the face of planet Earth. He literally made fun of Tim Duncan's dead mother. We're talking about taking things too far. There's stepping on an imaginary character, and then there's making fun of someone's dead mother. These aren't even kind of comparable.
Yeah, like he has done numerous like things that he's just a hypocrite. Like he's always been that guy, the super competitor that has gotten it under everybody's skin. Has probably said some things that all of us would just be like, "Damn, dude, it's not even that serious." He's just a hypocrite. Like it's just dumb.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to describe it. So that's everything we have for the show. One last little comment from me. One of my friends that I went to swim camp with back when I was 8, his name's Cal Alusia. He's swimming in Olympic trials tonight, so good luck to him. Hopefully.
Oh yeah, good luck to him.
So
definitely.
that's really awesome. Good luck, Cal. That's the end of our show. Check us out: Twitter, Facebook, Lake Effect Pod on Twitter, Lake Effect Sports on TikTok. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Rate us 5 stars on Apple. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.